Dear students, this is again Dr. J. Prashanta. Welcome you for lecture series on course Solar PV Fundamentals, Technologies and Applications. So this is your 23rd lecture in the order of third module. So in this particular lecture, we are going to see about incremental conductance method for maximum power point tracking. So in previous lectures we would have given a topic on maximum power point tracking, how this maximum power point tracking works, and what is the need of this maximum power point tracking, and what is the method of tracking MPP or global maxima, local maxima, all these concepts and the logics in maximum power point tracking we would have discussed. This is yet again in another method where we are going to see about an in-depth concept of about Ohm's law. Yes, Ohm's law, in the sense we have seen the resistance is nothing but a current limiting factor, where you call that proportionality, or you equal this proportionality by V divided by I. So this you call it as resistance. You can find out the amount of current limiting capability in terms of ohms. So in terms, when you inverse this resistance, we will get conductance. Conductance unit is mho, MHO. The unit of resistance is ohm, OHM. So let us see how this conductance and incremental conductance is going to help us in achieving maximum power point with respect to solar PV in this particular topic. Let us go into the lecture by brushing up the previous topics of what we have discussed in the earlier sessions. Yes, this particular slide I cannot skip. Why? Because this is the necessity of our maximum power point tracking. As I have already told you, it is my responsibility to brush up the earlier classes. As you see, you take the case A, where all your PV modules are uniformly shaded, and it is connected with the bypass diode 1, 2 and 3. As you know that this bypass diode will come into picture. Bypass diode is always reverse biased when your PV is, all PV modules receive uniform irradiation. Whenever any PV module receives difference in irradiation, there will be a reverse voltage. That is the thumb rule that we have discussed. During that time, when there is a reverse voltage, of course your bypass diode will get forward biased. So that particular panel, when your PV experiences difference in irradiation condition, that particular PV module receiving difference in irradiation condition will get bypassed. So this is the rule that we have seen in the earlier classes. Now we have got PV module 1, PV module 2, PV module 3. Three modules are there. Let me take the case here. All three modules are receiving same irradiation. There is no difference in irradiation. So my case is going to be, the characteristics according to it going to be 3 VM, 1 VM, 1 VM, 2 VM, because 3 modules are in series. So the array will have same, this curve one, this corresponding, the curve one will have same this one. There is no dip, or there is no step, nothing is there. Your PV module will produce an IV characteristics like in this similar fashion. Now let me take the case where one of my PV module have been shaded. I will take this PV module. Let me come to the diagram B, where one of my PV module is receiving shaded. Let me say the PV module receiving lesser irradiation has the capability to deliver 5 ampere, and the PV module, I am just assuming, please note these values are arbitrary. It can able to change. These are subjected to change when depending to your PV module data sheet values, because those are these are just contemporary values, because this is subject to variation. So when I say I will take a round figure, please keep that in mind before you presume that YSR is always specific on 5 ampere and 10 ampere, because it is easy for me to explain you. That's why I am taking 5 ampere and 10 ampere. Now I am just assuming it the modules receiving irradiation, change in irradiation. Which module is receiving change in irradiation? PV module 3 of case B is receiving change in irradiation. Let me say it as 500 watt per meter square, and my PV module 2 and PV module 1 receives uniform irradiation. Maybe the shade may happen due to your bird event or cloud passage or anything, maybe the reason. Those details we have discussed. So let us take a case without bypass diode. Only PV modules are alone connected in series. In this case, what it will do is PV module 3, that is a PV panel receiving lower irradiation, will try to influence all the modules, and it will make, for example, though your PV module 1 and PV module has the ability to produce 10 ampere, because of this PV module 3, entire string current is going to be 5 ampere. Why? Because PV module 3 has only the ability to produce 5 ampere. So PV module 3 is pushing PV module 1 and PV module 2 forcefully operated 5 ampere. This kind of problems will occur. Means this in a string you cannot have different current. It has to be only one current according to thumb rule of electricity. So you will have 5 ampere. Because of this, your maximum power derived from a PV is getting reduced. That is the characteristics that is shown here. It is shown in green color. I am just highlighting it here. You can see the corresponding PV curve also here. You can very well see this peak characteristics is completely reducing your maximum power. Now let me take the third case with your bypass diode. Now what will happen when in terms of bypass diode? Now it comes a very good deal of it. What is the deal of it actually? PV module, now the bypass diode, what is the provision that we will get is, whenever load demands 5 ampere, all three will be in operation, but when all three are in operation, let me say the voltage of a module is 20. If the load demands 5 ampere, then all three is in operation, so voltages will be additive, so you will get 60 voltage. If the load demands 10 ampere, in that case what will happen is your PV module 3 will produce a reverse voltage depending to the load. So your bypass diode, that is a case that is given here, case number the rectangular line, bypass diode will get activated during that load demands 10 ampere. So during that time there will be a reverse voltage, because PV module cannot deliver 10 ampere, it has only ability to produce 5 ampere. So in that case maximum voltage will be going to be 40 volt. Why? Because one module is getting bypassed. So when the load demands 10 ampere, the maximum voltage deliverable to the load is 40 volt, but again the current value can be improved. So this is the logic that we have in terms of without bypass diode, and this is very much needed, and it has to be explained before we get into MPP. Yes, now there is a question like why this MPP method is needed. Yes, of course, we have already discussed. This is going to be, let me take the case 1. This is going to be an MPP point. This is again a non-linear characteristics. Why you call it as a non-linear? Because your voltage and current are completely independent. Let me split this PV characteristics of uniform irradiation into two ways. Let us see this particular irradiation characteristics. Let me split. I have split into two. In this region, you can also see this. In this region, let me say it as R1. Let me say the other one as R2. So in this R1, we have current as constant. This current 1.3, maybe somewhere. This current is almost constant in this region 1. In region 2, your voltage is almost constant. So either one in a single characteristics, your voltage is some part constant, your current is some part. It is disobeying the Ohm's law. What is Ohm's law in general?
when voltage increases, current should also increase. That is what we call it as linearity. That is applicable for DC circuit. Yes, this is also an output of DC, but still it disobeys Ohm's law. So you call this particular characteristics as non-linear. Why? Because your voltage is not increasing linearly with your current. So hence I call this one as Ohm's law evaluation. Now what will happen is there is an IB characteristics, yes, uniform. So you cannot, as I have already told you, let me draw it in a different this thing, so that it will be easy for you to understand. Let me take this particular characteristics. You take this as open circuit voltage point. This is your V, this is your V, and this is the current axis. So this maximum current at 0th position is what you call it as ISC. So in this ISC your voltage is 0, in this VOC your current is 0. If you operate at this point, again your voltage is maximum but your current is not, your current level is not maximum. If you operate at this point, again your current is maximum but your voltage is minimum. So the point where you will get the MPP is going to be this particular point. This particular point, when you operate, what you will get is, you will get a maximum power point where your voltage is also maximum and your current is also maximum. So this point is what you call it as BMP, IMP. This resistance is what you call it as R opposite, or what you call it as resistance of maximum power point. So this is how it goes, and this is the logic. And you have to we have one more slide also that is to be explained here. Yes, I will clearly explain it here. You can see this. Let me say this: a PV panel connected directly to a load. As you all know that you have many loads: resistive load, inductive load, capacitive load, motor load. Many loads are there. So you can but that particular load is subjected to variations, because I say commonly as load. Load in the sense it for electricity, whichever it consumes electricity is called load. From a generation side, let me explain. Let me see from a PV panel side or a PV power plant side. When I look at to the load, so what will happen is, some point of time some user may use, some user may not use, sometime all the user may use. So it is very tough to manage my load, but you cannot have control over your load. But what you can do, but we can have a control over our generation. How we have a control over generation? Since we do not have control over load, but it is our utmost necessity to make our PV to always operate at MPP, because if it is not operated at MPP, what will happen is we are losing the efficiency of PV panel. So that's what it is clearly shown. Let it be first operating point, second operating point, third operating point. So when load is varied at third point or first point or different points, what happens is, like, your PV may not able to receive, or PV may not able to deliver effective power, or the power conversion efficiency of PV is very less when it is operating in 1 and 3. When it is operating at second point, yes, of course, the power conversion efficiency will be maximum. How to do that is, when load changes, we have a dumb box, what you call it as converter point. How to do this converter point is, just take this V and I values of the operating point and give it to a controller. This is the algorithm. This is the algorithm part. With this algorithm, we are trying to change the duty cycle of a DC-DC converter. This converter, I will come back to you again. What is a DC-DC converter? How we can change this, all those things, I will come back to you. So by changing the duty cycle of a DC-DC converter, we can able to change the operating point of PV. Our interest is, irrespective of load changes, we have to always ensure that PV operates at MPP. How to do that? Just measure the V and I values of that particular point, program it to an algorithm, and that algorithm will give you the corresponding duty cycle, so that you operate your PV at MPP. This is a very mandatory and important aspect of your PV. Now we have already seen what is perturb and absorb. You are going to increment your duty cycle step by step based on your slope, or based on your percentage of your duty cycle. For example, let me take 2% or 5%. That's a different study that we have explained in the last class. Now we are going to check very important factor. What are the elements that you will get when you are sensing it? You will get current value and voltage value. You at one first point. At third point also you will get voltage value and current value. At second point also you will get voltage and current value. Based on that we may able to come to a conclusion on the conductance. So we are going to take a decision on conductance, and we are going to find it how to make this conductance happen, and how to, with the help of conductance, how we are going to derive it. Let us relate it with respect to PV expression in the next slide. Please check into the next slide. Yes, of course you know partial shading condition. This is going to be vital. You know this partial shading condition. I have also thrown you the question. In case of if it is the right hand side, yes, you know this. This partial shade you can directly connect to this. But in case of if you are starting your declaration of duty cycle from here, let this be 0.1, let this be 0.2. If the duty cycle declaration is near to the 0.1, you may arrive at MPP2. You will not arrive to MPP1 because that is a maximum power. But your interest is to always operate it at MPP1. Why? Because that is your global maximum. So your our interest is always to make your MPP algorithm to operate MPP1, but unfortunately we got stuck in MPP2. This is the point I have left you as a hint in the last class. By using this perturbance absorb or your hill climbing or your incremental conductance, we are able to achieve it. I wanted you students to think on this point. Please keep thinking. Let us see the effects of partial shading. Yes, of course there is a reduction in power output. Of course you know this. Multiple peaks. Yes, there is a difference in irradiation. Definitely there will be steps in IV characteristics. Multiple peaks in PV characteristics. High non-linearity and complexity will come. And last is there is an always shift between global peak towards left hand side or right hand side that we may not able to know. So these are all the three fundamental effects that we have in terms of partial shading. And now here comes the deal. How we are going to check the incremental conductance? Yes, here you have the power expression, something that is something like this. We have a power expression something P is equal to V into I. That expression you all know. Power is equal to V into I. This expression we all know based on our DC power. If it is AC power, you have a cos phi. Yes, of course, that is also very much fine. Now we have DPV. Always this, let this be MPP. Let this PV characteristics MPP be your slope. In this MPP slope, what we do in the slope? In the slope, always the derivative is going to be 0 according to mathematics, that we know. So dP by dV, derivative of power with respect to the slope, we give it as 0. dP by dV is equal to d of V into I. V and I is nothing but power equation. Differentiation of power with respect to difference in voltage. That's what I am trying to mean. Difference in voltage, difference in power. dP by dV is equal to d into V into I divided by dV. So what will happen is, now I have just splitted this equation is a splitted form. I plus V into di by dV. I into dV by dV, it will get cancelled, so you will get only I term alone, and we will get V into di by dV, which is equal to 0. Of course the slope is going to be 0. Now I am just taking the terms alone out. You get this fundamental equation, minus I by V is approximately equal to change in current and change in voltage. So what does it mean? The conductance I by V is almost equal to change in current and change, which means what? There is the current and voltage will be, the change in voltage and current is going to be 0 at this particular point. That is what it means. Please take care, my dear students. Yes, dear students, we have got this particular minus I by V is nothing but your incremental conductance. This conductance that we have taken based on this particular point I by V, del I by del V, which means what? Your change in current and change in voltage at MPP point is always going to be 0. That is point number 1 in this incremental conductance. Note this particular point. Change in current and change in voltage, that particular ratio for this particular condition minus I by V is always going to be 0, which means what? The PV is operating at MPP point. The ratio between change in current and change in voltage is always equal to 0 during this particular point. Now if my dP by dV, this particular dP by dV is this is nothing but the current, means the dP by dV, let us say this particular error, change in power and change in voltage. So when this error is going to be positive, when this error, particular error, dP by dV error is positive, it is operating in this particular region. If error is positive, the particular dP by change in power and change in voltage, if error is positive, it is operating in left hand side. If error is positive, if error is negative, it is operating in negative off. If error is negative, it is operating in negative. This is the fundamental region. Three fundamental rules. One is when dP by dV is equal to 0, or the ratio between del I and del V is equal to 0, which means what? Your PV is operating at your MPP. Already it is operating MPP point. Of course, it is not going to happen. If the ratio dP by dV is equal to 0, it is going to be MPP point. If dP by dV is greater than minus I by V, which means what? It is operating in your error. That error is going to be positive. If the error is positive, then you will get it in left hand side of the curve. If it is going to be negative, we are going to operate in right hand side of the curve. This is the condition that it is based on incremental conductance. As we have told, it is I just read the definition of incremental conductance. It is very helpful for you to understand. Yes, this particular incremental conductance is established as one of the well-known MPPT technique. The method uses the ratio between instantaneous conductance to incremental conductance value to track optimal maximum power point, irrespective of non-linearity present in solar and wind energy conversions. This method has got enough potential to reach MPP under all operating conditions. Applying the conditions at MPP, the ratio of derivative of power to voltage is 0, and the ratio between instantaneous conductance to incremental conductance can be mathematically arrived as yes, of course, the instantaneous conductance is going to be instantaneous conductance is going to be del I by del V. Incremental conductance is going to be minus IV. So this is the logic. So this we have to understand, and based on three conditions, dP by dV is equal to 0, MPP. dP by dV greater than minus I by V, positive side. dP by dV less than minus I by V, negative side. This is the logic that we have. So now this is the flowchart. This flowchart you would have already seen in your hill climbing methods. Hill climbing you have already seen. Yes, that is well understood, that you also know about it. Now I will come back to the incremental conductance algorithm part. This algorithm part is very simple. We have derived three fundamental this thing. We have operated based on your what is the factor of the factors, dP by dV, three fundamental dP by dV and is equal to 0. Three conditions. What is the second condition? dP by dV greater than dP by dV greater than minus I by V, and the other portion dP by dV less than minus I by. These are all the three conditions that we have considered. So these three conditions, let us check. First, what we have to check, we need first initial 2 points in the IV characteristics. Let me take the IV characteristics or PV characteristics something like this. Let me draw this IV and PV characteristics something like this. Yes, this you all very much know, IV and PV characteristics. So in this IV PV characteristics, let me take this point. Yes, a thumb rule I have already told you in the class. Voltage will be always from 0 to V. Duty cycle is always in the opposite direction. This is going to be 0 to 1 or 0.1 to 0.9, whatever the way you take. So this is going to be 0 to 1. This is going to be the duty, this duty. Okay, this is the rule 1 and rule 2. So now let me take this particular, I am declaring my voltage reference here. So my peak is somewhere here. This is going to be my power point. My based on this incremental conductance, what I will do, I have to have 2 points. First point I have randomly declared. Second point, let me take this particular point. voltage is incremented. V reference I am included 2 points. Now I have first point and second point. So first point I will have one voltage, and second point I have some other voltage. Listen carefully. First point I have some other voltage, second point I have different voltage. Del V is change in voltage. This at point 1 I have some current, at point 2 I have some current. So this is going to be first current and second current, del I and del V. Del I is nothing but present and previous voltage difference. Del I is nothing but present current and previous current. V of k and V of k minus 1. Present current and previous current. Del V is nothing but present voltage minus previous voltage. Del I is nothing but present current minus previous current. When del V is 0, let us check first let us check the condition first. Is the del V is 0 for this particular case? No, del V is positive del V is negative. Del V is not equal to 0, so this it will come here. Del V is not equal to 0, so now it will come here. So what will happen now? I plus del I. This condition is nothing but dP by dV is equal to 0. It will ask whether dP by dV is, it is again checking dP by dV. This condition it is checking. First condition, whether dP by dV is equal to 0. No, because it is operating at this particular point. Now the operating point is 2. It is not a slope. It is a straight line point. So what it is going to be? That condition is also no. Whether it is greater than 0. Yes, it is greater than 0. Now you have to choose any one of the points. Increase dV. If it is no, then you have to decrease your V reference. If it is yes, then we have to increase the V reference value. Of course it is going to be no, so your voltage level has to be decreased and it has to go here. So you have to decrease your V reference. This V reference you have to decrease. This V reference you have to decrease. When you decrease, it will climb up. Why? Because this is your maximum voltage. When you go from left hand side, your voltage level tend to reduce. Now you tend to increase. Now you tend to increase your voltage and you tend to decrease the value. So this is how it happens. So you tend to decrease, and it will go back to your points. So now again let this case it will continue up to this will tend to decrease your V reference until it reach this particular point. Let me say this dP by one condition. My first condition is del V is, yes, of course it is not going to be 0. Let me take the third and fourth case as this. I will change the color in color so that it is easy for you to understand. Let this be third point, let this be fourth point. So the third point and fourth point, from third point to fourth point it has moved. Definitely there is a change in voltage. Now in this point del V is not equal to 0, so it enters now down. It enters to down where I plus del I by this condition. dP by dV is, yes, of course it is equal to 0. Why? Because at fourth point it has reached MPP, it has reached the slope. Here it is going to be 0, so it is yes. Now the condition is accepted, yes. Then return. Where it is returning, come back, you return. Where it is returning, return to, again you check here. Again you check here. Del V is equal to 0, yes. Now it will sense and it will come back, yes. Now your del V becomes equal to 0, del I will also become equal to 0. So now the condition, again it will come back here from return. It will again come back here for the same duty cycle. Earlier it was in 4. Now after returning it will come back to the same fourth point and it will check this present. Now the present voltage is also same, previous voltage is also same. Of course del V is equal to 0, first point. Here also it comes yes. Now it will check whether del I is equal to 0. Yes, del I is also equal to 0. Then it continues. So how it will goes is based on conductance value. If the MPP value is reached, what it will happen is it will keep on operating at one particular point, and that particular point is what you call it as incremental conductance point or slope point, where our MPP will be reached. So this kind of conductance based MPP operation is what we call it as incremental conductance method. Yes, students, with this I have come to the conclusion of today's class. Maybe we'll see the before I end today's class, I wanted you people to have a look into how we are going to solve the problem when my partial shade is happening. Now we have seen these methods are suitable for only PV with uniform irradiations. Now I wanted you people to see the methods that is highly it is useful when in case of what you call when we are trying to operate it in this partial shade case, as I have drawn you in the picture. Thank you, students. Thanks for your patient listening. With this, your module 3 contents in the syllabus gets over. Maybe in the next class we will see something that is really interesting with respect to PV and all the factors in the upcoming classes with the solution for partial shade problem, which is a real time problem where researchers are